Hey everybody, it's Mr. Carr again. Today we're looking at 2.1b. We're looking at the second day and talking more about those angle relationships that are formed by that transversal. But now we're going to be looking at what happens when they cross parallel lines. So for parallel lines, we get some special cases here. Remember from before, we talked about what are corresponding angles. So in this case, we have corresponding angles like 1 and 5 for just one example. Everything that's going to be in this left column are going to be congruent angle pairs. So corresponding angles are congruent. And again, it has to be parallel lines like this, cut by a transversal like this. Okay, so that's my transversal. These are my parallel lines. Okay. Oops. All right. So that means angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. But we have some more. We can do angle 4 is congruent to angle 8. Those are corresponding as well. Okay, kind of demonstrate this. This is what I mean by corresponding. We take it and we can just shift it right down there. Okay. Same thing happens with angle 4 and angle 8. So we do 2 there. So if I look at angle 8, if I just take it and I shift it right there, it's in the same kind of corresponding position. That's what we mean by that. Okay. Additionally, we have angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding. And then angle 3 and angle 7. Okay, those are all the ones that are congruent. Alternate interior angles. As a reminder, this is my interior. The alternate means they're on both sides of my transversal here. The ones that are on the interior would be like angles 3 and 5. And again, what that means is if I take this, oops, that. I take this and kind of flip it around, it's the same angle as that. They're alternate interior. They're going to match up to each other. We'll put that back. So angle 3 is congruent to angle 5. Same thing with angle 4. We'll do this in blue. And 6. Angle 4 is congruent to angle 6 because they're both in the interior and they're on alternate sides of the transversal. Alternate exterior. Again, the alternate means on both sides of that transversal. Now we're going to look at angle 1 and angle 7. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 7. Then angle 2 and angle 8 are also going to be congruent to each other. The other relationship that comes up is when they are supplementary. So in this case, we have supplementary angles when they add up to 180 degrees. And that happens with only one of our relationships, and that is consecutive interior angles. Okay. So again, what we said about that before is consecutive interior would be like angle 3 and angle 6. So the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 6 is equal to 180 degrees. Additionally, angle 5 and 4 are also consecutive interior. So that means the measure of angle 4 plus the measure of angle 5 is also equal to 180 degrees. Okay. So knowing those relationships, we're going to be able to go through and figure out our different types and looking at when are things equal to each other and when do they add up to 180. So for example, right here, we want to look at all the angles that have the same measure of 125 degrees. So the first thing I'm going to look at is something to bring back a little bit older because 125, we got an X shape here. Angle 1 is 125. So the measure, angle 1 is also equal to 125 degrees. And that's because that's vertical angles there. Okay. Now we look at our new ones for this unit. We can do 125 right here is going to be with this one. It's going to match up to that one. So the measure of angle 5 is also 125 degrees. And my reason for that is that they are alternate interior angles. Okay. And then if I take the 125 and I shift down here, I take it down to that spot right there. That means the measure of angle 7 is also equal to 125 degrees. And that is because of corresponding angles. Okay. So that's some of our basic ones. We can also use that with a little bit of algebra. So for example, right here, we can find the measure of angle 2 for first thing we have to do is find the value of x. So we look at what relationship is there between these two angles. Well, here's my transversal line. That doesn't say it, but these are parallel lines like this. So my transversal line is that right there. So we have these two on the opposite sides of the transversal. So that makes them alternate exterior angles. So if I were to go back and check my chart, alternate exterior angles are going to be congruent to each other. So that's 3x minus 4 is equal to 113. From here, just going to go ahead and solve that as a quick algebra problem. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. 3x is equal to 117. And then I divide by 3. So 117 divided by 3 comes out to 39. Okay, so now that I know that that's 39, I can set this angle 2 up with this part. So if I plug that in, that's 3 times 39. Honestly, I don't need to do that. Let me take this easier. I already know this is supposed to be 113 degrees. Okay, so that means for my second relationship for finding angle 2, these two angles are making a linear pair. So that means the measure of angle 2 is going to be equal to 180 minus the 113 there. So 180 minus 113 comes out to 67 degrees. Yeah, 67 degrees there. Okay. So try out some of these other ones. Again, you're looking for those angle relationships there. One quick summary then, these are the ones that are congruent. So if they are corresponding, like this, okay, those are corresponding. If they are alternate interior angles, they are congruent, like these two angles are. Alternate exterior angles, like these, okay? So make sure you have those, like you're clear on those. If they are consecutive interior angles, that means that they're going to be supplementary instead. So that means that these two angles add up to 180, but so do these two angles add up to 180. Biggest thing is identifying which angle relationship do we have, and then we see there's add them up to 180, or we set them equal to each other at that point. That is it for 2.1 day 2 here. Take care, everyone.